Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name's Chris and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. And in today's video, I am going to question whether some of these projects are legitimate projects or whether they're going to end up going to zero and are more like Ponzi schemes. If you enjoy this sort of content and you want to stay safe in the crypto space, then mash up that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video. Right. Let's get down to the desktop. So the total market cap for crypto stands at 1.26 trillion, down 0.12% at the time of recording. Bitcoin under $30,000 at $29,403, up 0.45%, and Ethereum is down at 1,946.66, down 1.06% at the time of recording. Now, it has to be said that I have recently put out a video surrounding, I guess, some questions that I have regarding 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏 and the integrity of the project. And, you know, I've been heavily criticized for putting this stuff out. But ultimately, you know, I have no grudge against any project in this space, whether we've, you know, called it out as, you know, being a fantastic project in the past or not. Things change. It's like a relationship. Things evolve over time. And sometimes, you know, a project deviates from what you once believed it was. And that's very much the case that I kind of feel with 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗏. Hence the video asking lots of questions. And as investors, I feel that we, you know, regardless of being a YouTuber or not being a YouTuber, every individual that is invested in a project has the right to ask questions. And ultimately, if the questions don't get answered, I kind of feel like it's time to move on and move away, right? Regardless of the project. Now, in this video, I do want to, you know, potentially look at calling out some other projects to answer some questions, right? And you know, I'm really doing this contrary to people's belief that I hold a grudge. I have no grudge to bear. Like 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗏, you know, all I'm really doing is, you know, impacting people around me that are still involved in 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗏, right? I've got, you know, close friends and family that are still invested in 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗏, and ultimately they're looking to sell once they're unstaked. This wasn't about, you know, the value of 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗏. This was about wanting the project to be successful, and I want the projects that, you know, I'm going to question in this video to be successful too, right? And again, I think there's lots of influencers talking positively about a few of these projects, and, you know, you've got to ask questions, but this is all with the motive of trying to keep people safe in the space. This is not a regulated market. There's lots of market manipulation going on. We've seen what happens with Luna. We're at that time, you know, in the cycle where this stuff, you know, just keeps happening and happening and happening. And, you know, really you need to make sure that you're not emotionally tied to a community or a project, and make sure that you know, your investments are safe, and make sure that you're doing your due diligence. So I want to start here, right? And I'm quite happy to share other people's work here. But how anyone can spot a rug in 3 minutes, ask a legitimate question to the team. And that is pretty much simply it, right? If you ask, you know, what I would class as a reasonable question of a team, and they deflect, they don't answer it, they don't make themselves available, you know, it's a big red flag, right? As many other red flags that you can find on a lot of these projects. If they are a safe project, the team will welcome your question with open arms and provide answers. And I think this is true. You know, if a project is answering the questions, and when I say the project, like the core team of a project, not like mods and admins that, you know, want to be part of a team but aren't part of a team, you know, clearly as, you know, referring to 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗏 here, they're not really part of the core team. The core team is nowhere to be found, right? And ultimately the mods and the admins, you know, I guess we can speculate that they run all of the social media accounts, including the likes of 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗪𝗏, and various others, right? Like, you know, we've got to speculate that is, you know, actually what's happening here. If the team responds with FUD, why do you ask questions, etc.? then you need to run. That is something that, you know, is not articulated by me, but it is something that, you know, is very aligned to my opinion. And ultimately, if the teams aren't going to answer questions and everyone's just going to call it FUD, then, you know, even when there's legitimate questions that are still outstanding and haven't been answered, and there's no video AMAs and, you know, nobody coming on YouTube channels to debunk anything, just, you know, accounts and people sat behind computers typing stuff out, could be anybody. And this is the thing that, you know, people need to perhaps, I guess, open their minds and you know, consider that you might not be right about a project, right? And ultimately, this is something that I think people should be completely aware of at the moment. Another thing here, you know, Ben Armstrong, I don't necessarily agree with an awful lot of what this guy says, but, you know, everybody knew this was a Ponzi. This is what happens when you run out of people to feed the kitty, the bubble pops. And, you know, maybe this is something that we're going to start to see. Are we going to see Hex? You know, we're starting to see that bubble pop. Or are people going to, you know, still believe that this is not a Ponzi scheme and people are going to get into it? You know, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are, right? Next thing to look at here, right? Imagine you are a bag holder of a shitcoin that's called 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧, and the dev team market sells 10% supply, sending the price down 77%, then comes to Discord and apologizes for the dip. I mean, I'm you know, just putting out here what has been said, but ultimately there's an awful lot of this stuff happening in the space. And, you know, I am literally, my motive is not financial gain. My motive, unlike a lot of people in this space that will come and you know, criticize me, my motive is to keep you safe and to open your minds to think differently, because ultimately there's a lot of people in this space that are getting caught up emotionally with projects they're invested in, right? And it should be an investment. You should question why you invested in the first place. You know, most of the time it's because you want to make money, right? And you know, here we go, like an apology, right? There's just so much of this stuff happening, it just needs to be called out, right? Then we've got DeFi Money, this one here, YF, I guess that's II. You know, we've seen this, you know, drop down 32.72%. I'm not entirely sure what this is, but there are people that are calling it out as a bit, you know, I guess speculation that it could be a rug pull. And, you know, there's poor people buying this up, right? And, you know, it might not. I've looked at the socials. I can't see, you know, much activity. I've jumped in the Telegram group again. I can't really tell. There's just lots of people, you know, basically saying FUD and that you should, you know, purchase, buy. And ultimately, you know, you guys as investors need to be asking serious questions. Like, that is my opinion. I have done some write-ups and videos on red flags. Do check them out. I am just doing this with the motive of trying to keep as many people safe and to prevent people from losing money on, you know, some of the antics that happen in this space, whether you choose to believe that or not. Now, the next project that I'm going to call out is Stefan GMT. I have spent a lot of time actually over the recent days just, you know, going back over this project, and I do have to say it does kind of feel like it could end up being one of those projects that just peters out. I mean, I don't think the tokenomics actually are really sustainable, and ultimately, you know, there will be people that I think in the future will be calling this a Ponzi scheme, in the respect that people can get in early and people can you know, make a lot of money, but ultimately they're going to be selling on people that are going to be getting in, and the price is just going to significantly fall over time. You know, only 10% of the circulation is currently in supply. That's going to increase, and ultimately I don't think that you're going to be able to continue this. It might last another 6 to 8 months, but, you know, after that I kind of feel like, you know, it might start to die down a little bit. Obviously the website looks, you know, pretty interesting, one that a lot of influencers have been covering, but ultimately this could be one that hurts an awful lot of people, in my opinion. And I'm really interested to get your views and opinions on this, but, you know, it is something that I wanted to raise because it is another big project, and we've seen what happens with Luna. The size of the project matters very little, right? So, you know, I am just going to call it out, and let's sort of look at some of the reasoning behind why I think this might happen. And that is really just to look at, you know, the reasons why there would be demand for this coin, right? New players join the game after purchasing their first sneaker. They might choose to immediately purchase GST/GMT to upgrade their shoes. So yeah, legitimate, but like, I think as the price comes down, as the tokenomics and the tokens increase in supply, I kind of feel like there'll be less demand for new players purchasing, right? And what they have tried to do, which, you know, has kind of got alarm bells ringing for me, is the fact that, you know, a lot of the stuff is closed off, and you have to, you know, get a code, and there's only so many codes that are generated a day. And, you know, it just seems mad. It just really does seem like they're just trying to slow that process down. Just my opinion. You know, with all this said, they could change the tokenomics and they could make this work still. But this is my opinion as it stands. Players choose to increase their portfolio of shoes. So basically they might get a different, you know, different shoes. Yeah, I guess that is something that could happen. Believing that the token price might rise in the future. So basically speculation and then sell later. These buyers could very well be non-players hoping to gain off the trading of the tokens. Yes, could happen, but I don't think that that's likely to happen. These buyers could be short-term swing trades, genuine believers in the project. To extend hype, you know, basically hype. Right, these are the reasons. So basically what we're saying is new players and hype and traders. That is the I guess the demand, right? And the question is, as the price drops, is there going to be a demand for, you know, new trainers? Like, is there going to be new players coming into the game as the price drops? Probably not. But you know, time will tell, right? We'll see whether we're right or we're wrong. And then selling, obviously, people are going to want to sell the actual coins, right, for a profit, right? Taking profits, you know, upgrading the assets and that side of things. Again, not really going to get into too much of the selling aspect. I will link this in the description of the video. I think I just wanted to give an alternative sort of take on Stefan GMT compared to a lot of the other influencers. I just wanted to make people sort of think about things slightly differently. And ultimately, I'm not suggesting that this is a rug pull or this is a scam project. What I am doing is I'm trying to get people to think about things slightly differently. You know, this is, you know, my thoughts, my opinions. I don't think the demand you know, fits with the tokenomics currently. That doesn't mean that this project won't be a success, but I am flagging it as something that people should be sort of monitoring and looking at. I expect the price of GMT to reduce significantly over the coming months, and ultimately that will reduce the number of people that are interested in purchasing the sneakers, and ultimately it will spiral from there. That's my opinion. But with all that said, they could come in, they could make some changes, they could make the token more appealing with other use cases. That is something that I would like to see. But ultimately, you know, this is my opinion, this is my view. Again, no grudges being held. I just want people to start thinking a little bit differently and not getting wrapped up in so much hype. I hope today's video was useful, educational, supportive. Jump in our Discord, link is in the description. Have some more meaningful conversations with us. We really want you to you know, embrace cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. We don't want you to be on the losing side. We want you to build generational level wealth, being on the right side. And to do that, you know, you've got to make sure that you're engaging with the right people in this space, investing in the right projects with great utility, great foundations, great teams, great use case, great utility, and all of this stuff that are going to be, you know, having longevity about them. Not projects that perhaps are going to die a death in maybe, you know, 5-10 months, maybe less. I hope this was supportive, useful, educational, all that wonderful stuff. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just my opinion and should be treated as educational purposes only. Make your own, you know, investment decisions. Don't sell or buy anything based on anything that I said in this video. Go away, do your own research, and make sure that you do well in this space. With all that said, done and out of the way, mash up that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tap in that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.